This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important update to share with you. Looks like President Biden's stimulus executive order of student loan forgiveness has been struck down by a federal judge, and it may not happen at all. All the applications are now closed for student loan forgiveness. I'll give you details on that. $1,500 checks going at one time to certain Americans. And then when it comes to the elections, midterm elections, now that it's over, we're going to find out the truth of what each Republican and Democrat are going to do. I'll play the video clips of what they are going to actually do now that they're not just saying it to get votes. I'll play those video clips and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. All right, so federal court strikes down Biden's student loan forgiveness program. The timing of it is very interesting. So a federal judge in Texas has struck down President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness, declaring it illegal. The lawsuit was filed by conservative group, the Job Creators Network Foundation, in October on behalf of two borrowers who did not qualify for debt relief. Biden's program was already on hold due to a separate legal challenge. The Biden administration has argued that Congress has given the Secretary of Education the power to broadly discharge student loan debt in a 2003 law known as the HEROES Act. But the Texas federal judge found that the law does not provide the executive branch clear congressional authorization to create the student loan forgiveness program. The program is thus an unconstitutional exercise of Congress's legislative power and must be vacated. That's what the judge said. And in this country, we are not ruled by an all-powerful executive with a pen and a phone. So yeah, this is a big, bold move right here, basically saying that the president, which is I think what we all thought, does not have power of the purse. But I guess there was some loophole that I thought the Biden administration figured out. And now this federal judge struck it down, but there's a few other lawsuits going on in other places. So when it comes to student loan forgiveness, if you are counting on it, probably not going to happen anytime soon. So Biden administration stops taking applications for student loan forgiveness, and student loan borrowers cannot apply for forgiveness at this time. And yeah, talking about the federal judge in Texas struck down the Biden administration's plan Thursday evening. So this is big news right here because the courts have issued orders blocking our student, so basically what is said here on the studentaid.gov website. Courts have issued orders blocking our student debt relief program. As a result, at this time, we are not accepting applications. We are seeking to overturn those orders. So yeah, this is a big blow. It happened on Thursday, which, you know, I guess was sort of good timing for the Democrats. If it happened Monday or, you know, early Tuesday before the elections, not sure if that would have swayed things, but it probably just wouldn't have looked good for the Democrats there. What are your thoughts? Should there be some type of student loan forgiveness, smaller amount, or maybe should the money be used to help out people on fixed income or low income, or be more a general type of stimulus check program? Let me know your thoughts on that. And when it comes to the midterm elections sort of being over, we're going to hear what the Republicans and Democrats are going to do. First, let's start off with the Republicans.
It's interesting. Biden's pollster, a guy named John Anzalone, he said a few weeks ago he saw the election as headwinds versus head cases. That's how he put it. The headwinds the Democrats were facing because of an unpopular president, because of inflation, because of fears of a recession. The head cases, you just alluded to the fact that Don Bolduc and some of the other candidates running for office there in New Hampshire and across the country were conspiracy theorists. Somebody was talking about Leavitt, the candidate Leavitt, becoming the Marjorie Taylor Greene of New Hampshire, which having lived in New Hampshire, I can't imagine that was appealing to a lot of New Hampshireites, even right-leaning independents. Does this signify to you in a bigger way that the Republican Party needs to get back to sane Republicans like yourself and away from the MAGA conspiracy theory wing of the Republican Party?
Well, look, quality of candidate matters. It really does, even over policy. Look, I think a lot of people want policy to be fixed, but they're saying, you know what? We can fix policy later. We're going to fix crazy right now. And that was a clear message across this country. Enough of the polarization, enough of the extremism. Let's get back to the basics and deliver me some results. Stop talking, start delivering results. Republicans and Democrats alike in Washington haven't done a whole lot of that. And the fuel stuff is scary, especially in New England. The energy costs, the fuel costs, all of this, the lack of supply into our system. So that's scaring folks. But clearly, the need to not go so forward with the policy changes, such as to put in extremists, people we're not just going to have that. This is a purple state in New Hampshire. We really are. We elect good Republicans. But again, you got to be a candidate that connects with folks.
Well, speaking of connecting, I know education's important to you, and your Republican Senate candidate, Don Bolduc, who you endorsed, his closing argument was that kids in New Hampshire are going to the bathroom in litter boxes. And I was just wondering is this something that is a concern to New Hampshire voters? Or is there, I lived in New Hampshire, like I said, for 4 years. I don't recall ever seeing any litter boxes in restrooms, but maybe I need to be educated.
You went to Dartmouth, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct, Jake?
That's correct.
So you've been to school here. You've been here. So I'm guessing neither you nor I have ever seen such things in New Hampshire schools. I don't know what that was all about. Nonsense. I don't know.
You look nationally at some of the gubernatorial candidates who ran, and again, this was a year where Democrats could have easily lost tons of races. In Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, all over. But the Republican Party, Republican voters nominated people who voters didn't think were up to the task in states where the races were eminently winnable. And I just wonder, as a Republican, as a conservative, does that frustrate you?
Oh, of course it does. I think it doesn't frustrate me now if it's been frustrating me for the past year. So the quality of the candidate matters. You got to connect with folks. You got to, again, work on their level. What are their issues? What are you connecting with them? And a lot of the stuff they were espousing just weren't things that people wanted to see anymore in Washington. It wasn't about payback. They wanted to see Washington move forward. And so a lot of these candidates that frankly probably should have won by 5 or 6 points were fighting for their life in close races at the end of the day that probably just didn't need to happen. I'm just a believer that you always have to move the message forward. I think that's very much in the American spirit. We don't settle. We don't just settle on this and say, well, that's good enough. We're always challenging ourselves to make something better, a better policy, a better idea, a better candidate, a better individual, better public service. That's what we're all about here, right? And so that's why I am constantly, and I think most of us constantly want to see things go forward instead of talking about what happened yesterday. So at the end of the day, I'm hopeful we can change the message. I'm hopeful that we can start branding ourselves as a party. I think I do it pretty well. I think a lot of people do it pretty well. I think Governor DeSantis did it incredibly well in Florida. He just knocked the cover off the ball there. And I think people are now saying, okay, we're moving forward. And if you just look at the Trump versus DeSantis stuff today, it's a heck of a lot different than it was just 3 months ago and definitely a year ago. And then you'll have other candidates come into the race, and hopefully they're up to the challenge of taking that leadership role and driving forward with a positive, inspirational message about getting stuff done and demanding accountability out of their public servants. You got to get results.
So now that you've heard the Republican perspective there, let's hear it from the Democrats.
Is this an opportunity for Democrats to look back on this and say, let's talk more about the economy? Because every time you and I talk, you talk about what you're fighting for in Washington, and Republicans have kind of been exposed here. They're the ones that kind of get this credit for being good on the economy while offering no policies. And many, many Democrats only talk about social issues. And you know, social issues and economic issues are completely intertwined.
No, absolutely. Look, a lot of the social problems and concerns come from not having a stable job, from not having a housing that's affordable, from not having opportunity for social mobility. So I think that Democrats absolutely should talk about the economy all of the time because we are the party that does a good job with the economy. We're the party that brought down unemployment. We're the party who's paid down the deficit. Just to mention 2 things we've done in the last few years. Not only that, but we've stood up to monopoly power. We've tried to create more competition in the economy. We've tried to bring manufacturing back here, including in semiconductors. We have a great message on the economy, and we don't have to choose between these issues. Americans want both. They want the ability to earn a living, raise their kids, take care of their family, save, and they also want to have their rights and freedoms as Americans at the same time.
Then what's your message to leadership within your party? What's next? Where do you all go from here? What did you learn from these midterms?
Well, I think one of the things we saw is that candidate quality matters. My colleagues who ran in these districts are tough, they're smart, they flipped seats in 2018, many of them, they hung on in 2020, and so I think we've got a great group of people who have learned how to win in tough races and in parts and pockets of this country, including Orange County, that people sometimes haven't thought we could do. I think that's a real positive, and I think the next question facing Democrats are, how are we going to create that kind of multi-generational leadership? How are we going to lift up a mix of voices in our leadership that's going to let us connect with these voters all across the country? And that includes connecting with them on economic issues.
Then how are you feeling? This time tomorrow night, you'll know where you stand.
I probably will know tomorrow night. I don't know. But listen, this is the best part of a campaign in some ways, because this is the part where you know you left it all on the field. You worked hard, you listened, you got into every aspect of a community, got to know voters, knocked doors, had a great team of volunteers, spent the money that needed to be spent to win. So I am people say, aren't you stressed out? I said, no. We ran a tough race. We did everything we could do, and we feel confident it's going to pay off. So for me, this is just about catching up on laundry and letting democracy do the rest.
Katie Porter in a very close race. She may or may not win when it comes, or get reelected when it comes to the votes if they finally get counted. But anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something what you should always do. So when you want to do something, do it. Like if you want to go out in outer space, do it. If you want to say something, do it. Say whatever you want and do whatever you want. And make it excitement. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. So yeah, got a bunch of family stuff to do today. Got a birthday party to head to. Hopefully you have a good weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.